Welcome to episode 6 of the Free Your Mind podcast. Now, I'm recording this on AirPods or whatever they're called. So the sound quality may not be as good. So apologies if that's something that really offends you. But you know what it's like. Sometimes life isn't perfect and you just have to adapt. Which is actually really relevant to what I'm going to talk about today. Because what I want to talk to you about today is warrior versus the wizard. Now, the warrior shows up for people differently. It's like our two states of being. The warrior shows up for people differently. Now, so I can only talk to how it shows up for me, and you can relate to this in any way that you want to. Warrior for me is the part of me that gets shit done. It does the shit that I need to do even when I don't feel like doing it. It's kind of fiery, it's angry sometimes. It's the part of me that does shit that other people don't seem to want to do, or other people don't seem to be disciplined enough to do. People around me explain me as disciplined. I don't really know if I am or not. I guess you could probably say I am, but what I find is, yeah, maybe I am. Who knows? But it comes from that warrior part of me that says, just fucking do it, you know? And this is why I lost my patience in the personal training industry, because there would come a time where, after being compassionate and caring and asking questions and really digging into someone's psychology and exploring and finding out, you know, why is this important to you and what stops you from going and what solutions can we find and, you know, how do you feel about this and how do you feel about that and how would you feel about this and how would you feel about that and what can we do? And you'd still face the same problems and still come crying to you because they haven't lost weight, you know, and that same person, I've probably told this story before, but that same person, I'd see him walking home with a bag of fucking fish and chips, you know, and they'd still be drinking every night. And there comes a time where I'd be like, oh, for fuck's sake, just do it, you know? Stop talking about it. Get on with it. Stop making excuses. It's fucking easy. It's simple. Stop eating shit food. Start training more. It's not difficult, right? It fucking isn't. This is warrior. This is very much warrior. And it's the part of me that, to the plus of it, is it gets shit done. I wake up and the voice inside my head tells me that I can't be bothered to train today. And all the reasons as to why I shouldn't. You know, you didn't get enough sleep, or you've trained really hard, or, you know, it is Friday, or you have been working hard, or just get it fucking done. Just get up and get training. It's like right now I'm training in lockdown, right? In my living room, and I've done it outside. I'm trying to do pull-ups all over the place, pull-ups on trees. Because the warrior in me will absolutely refuse to come out of this in worse shape. In fact, the warrior in me wants to come out in better shape, fitter, stronger. And I actually have. I've improved my HRV, if you're into, not HIV, HRV, heart rate variability, has increased. My resting heart rate's decreased. I've actually increased my cardiovascular fitness, as well as, I guess what you could say, my health in this time, because it's like, I refuse to be beaten by this. I refuse to lose by this. It's like, I'm in this, every day I'm in a battle with my own mind. Every morning I wake up, the voice tells me I want to sit on my ass, eat Ben & Jerry, don't train. You've got all the reasons not to. And there's a part of me that says, fuck that. This gets done. And everyone else, like, oh, I haven't got any weights, or I don't like training at home. Why does that matter? Just fucking do it, you know? And that's been largely responsible for where I am in life. You know, whether you consider that somewhere good or somewhere not, or successful or unsuccessful, it's irrelevant. But when you look at where I've come from, or when you look at the things I've been through, or when you look at where my life probably should be, based on who I used to be, and the choices and emotions and feelings and thoughts that occupied my life, I'd say I've done all right. And warrior has largely been responsible for that. It's that kind of voice inside that says, let's fucking do this. You know, you do not stop until you win. Now, you may relate to this or you may not. I mean, if you're like my clients, you will. Now, this does kind of, it sounds like, oh my God, how amazing am I? No. That's, that's not the point, because warrior comes with downsides. Warrior for me is the part that also means I don't quit when I should. It's the part of me that says I train too much, or I become too obsessed, or I become so disciplined in my eating that I actually used to be very obsessive with what I ate. It was like someone had offered me a biscuit with my tea. No, I can't do that. It's a Wednesday. It's like you only eat, cheat meals on a Saturday, and it was obsessive. It would come to a point where I'd eat by the clock. I'd actually go into meltdown if I was out somewhere and there wasn't healthy food that fit in with my, and I couldn't get the right macros. It was a real problem. It really was. It's like I'd be laying in bed almost drifting off to sleep and then realize that I hadn't had my protein shake and I'd have to go downstairs and drink it, because in my world it was like, I had to. Warrior also means that sometimes I'm impatient. I'm impatient with other people because they're not doing what I think they should, or because they're not seeing what I see, or because I don't think their excuses are valid, or I just want to warrior just wants to get to the point. Just answer the fucking question. You don't ask someone a question and they start telling you all this story. That's not what I asked for. Just answer the fucking question. And that comes across as, people around me used to feel like they were on eggshells. People around me used to feel like nothing they did was ever good enough. People around me I was a bit of a dick, and that may or may not be coming across in this. You may be thinking, wow, he sounds like me, or you may be thinking, wow, this guy sounds like a dick. I don't know, but bear with me because there is a point to this. So what I'm saying here is warrior is good for certain things. Warrior is good for discipline, for achieving, for making shit happen, for, picking up the phone when you really don't want to, for closing a deal when paying your rent relies on it, for putting videos out. For years I've been doing videos when every part of my being felt embarrassed or felt like, who the hell are you even, who are you to do this? You've got nothing good to say. When every part of my being felt afraid and fearful, and every time I got negative comments, or there was a part of me that wanted to shrink and hide and stop doing it, just go get a job, or just quit on this, or just give up on this. But warrior is the part of me, or the part of us, that makes us do it. It makes us do those things. But as I said, the negative is it's also the part of me that means I can be on the edge of losing my temper. I can be losing my shit over small things. I can be losing my temper in traffic. I can, blow up over really insignificant things that, aren't that big a deal. You're always on the edge. I sometimes refer to this as like the gorilla part of our brain, where it's like this angry gorilla. You're kind of highly strung. And to the people around us, it's the part that means we can be chimpy, we can be snappy, we can be not present because we can't switch off. The warrior's in overdrive. Can't sleep at night because you're like, these thoughts, I need to make things happen. The part that also fights with reality when things don't go our way, or when things feel like it's out of our control. The warrior doesn't like that. So what I'm saying here is there's a plus to it and there's a weakness to it. Now, a lot of my clients have come to me where they're basically warrior all of the time. So they create amazing lives, they get loads done, but they are constantly kind of angry, snappy, judging other people, snapping at their staff, offending other people, losing their shit over small things, can't switch off, not really emotionally available to the ones, their loved ones, lacking that compassion, that care, not slowing down, not stopping, can't switch off on holidays or weekends, in overdrive all of the time, and sometimes then using substances to try and slow that down. Let's sedate this warrior. Let's sedate this gorilla. Let's give him a couple of beers. Let's give him some weed. Let's give him something Even if it's actually a stimulant like Coke or something, well, then you get the crash the next day. And on the crash the next day, you can't be fucking asked to do anything, and you can't be asked to think about anything. And this isn't me, by the way, but that's where clients have come to me in. It's like they're having to force, without even consciously knowing it. And if this is you, that may be news to you. But without consciously knowing it, they're having to create space, because you can't be warrior all of the time. It's exhausting and you burn out. So, and very much ironically, everything I just delivered there is probably warrior. You know, when I go into warrior, it's like it's very passionate and swearing and loud, and that's kind of how that comes across. But then on the flip side, there's wizard. So wizard is slower. Wizard is thoughtful. Wizard is connected to the present moment, is driven by inspiration and reflection and insight. Wizard is the part of us that just slows down for a moment to just be present with our loved ones, or present to life, or when you just sat in the present moment and you just get inspiration and ideas just flow to you. You're on holiday looking out over the sea and everything just feels simple, and you go, God, I've had so many good ideas, and suddenly you can solve all your problems. Sometimes it comes in the shower, where warrior has been trying to solve all your problems all day, but then you just say, fucking have enough of this. You get in the shower, you stop thinking about anything, and you just kind of settle down. You settle down into that kind of more peaceful place, and the ideas just plop into your head. It's like you don't make anything happen from this place. It's like you receive from cosmic Google, from somewhere out there, from deeper mind, from whatever it is that seems to, the creative force of life kind of just plops into our attention. It plops into our mind. That to me is where art, music, creativity, writing is born from. That's the place that if you're in creative industries, you can find yourself chasing, because that's your inspiration. But also, this is what a lot of my warrior clients are searching for. They want to search for that. They know something's missing, but they don't know what. But what they're missing is wizard. They're missing the part of themselves that can slow down and feel fully alive to life, where everything just feels more vibrant. The trees look greener. The air smells nicer. And you notice things that you haven't noticed before. Like you look out the window that you've looked out of every day and you go, did you know there's a really nice tree there? Or did you know there's a church on the horizon there? Or did you, and that's a true story for me, because I switch in and out of them, which we'll talk about. And Jenna will look over and I'm looking out the window and I'm like, did you realize you can see the church from here? And Jenna's like, oh, you're back then? Like, what she means by that is warrior isn't engaged and present with relationships or life. He gets shit done, and it's useful. Wizard is very much present and inner peace and just present and emotionally available and calmer and more patient and more able to kind of be with people, ask questions and coach from that place. But as I said, a lot of my clients lack that. They haven't found a place for that in their life, because sometimes they've built lives where they have to be warrior 24/7 because of the beast that they've built with their businesses or their life. They think, actually, is the truth, that they have to be in that state all of the time, and they haven't yet come to recognize how useful wizard can be. Because you can be warrior and you can work your ass off, and you probably know people that do this. You may even be one. You can work your ass off and make shit happen, and you can run as fast as you want. But if you're running in the wrong direction, you never arrive. Or if you're working your ass off to build a life that you don't even enjoy or you aren't happy with, then you'll find yourself asking, what's the point of this and what's it all for? If you are absolutely going for it in warrior mode to the point where your health has gone to shit, you've got negative habits coming in different forms, you're destroying your relationships, these people come to me and their wife's leaving them. And they're like, well, I've got the house, I've got the cars, I've got the money, I've given her everything, but now she's left with my kids, and what's it all for? And it's like, well, good fucking question. Like, what is it all for? if you've destroyed everything in the pursuit of it all, you know? And this is where Wizard comes in, because you slow down and you can check in with, where am I? What do I want? What is important to me? Like, do I like my life right now? Do I like living in the way that I'm living? Is my business where I want it to be? Is my job where I want it to be? Is my life where I want it to be? Or can I tweak it, change it, adapt it? You know? What areas of my life are lacking? Is my relationship shit? Is it lacking that deep connection? Is it lacking, am I lacking compassion, empathy, care, understanding, patience? This is where the Wizard gets to reflect and tune in. If I'm not feeling alive to life, if I'm not enjoying it, what's the point of it? You know? Obviously, there is a negative to Wizard as well, because some people, and I don't know if this is you or not, because I don't know who you are, who's listening. Some people in my space, in the personal development world, the coach world, well, they're Wizard all of the time. So they feel peaceful and calm, and they meditate all the time, and they read. But then their biggest frustration is their life is shit. They've got no money, they're in debt, they can't do the things they want to do. You know, the biggest argument with their wife or husband or whatever is that there's never any money, or, you know, the kids can't get to do the things that they want their kids to be able to do. And then it's like, you know, like there's a choice between the physical world of achievement or the kind of more spiritual world of feeling good. And to me, thinking that they are separate things is one of the biggest misconceptions in this life. Thinking that the physical and the form and the formless are separate, or the physical and the non-physical are separate, is a complete misconception. It's all part of the same thing. It is the same thing. And we're going deep now, but let's go with this. Just ride with me with this. Everything comes from formless into form. You know, how am I even a human? How are you even a human? You know, we've come from, like, where did we come from? You know, you could say we come from, you know, the sperm and the egg, but where were we before that? You know, let's imagine I was a sperm. I know that's not true, because that would only be part of kind of, unless a really weird vision right now. Imagine my head with like a big tail on it in warrior mode. I'll get there first. Where was I before the sperm? You know, was I just energy? Was I, you know, I don't know, like ATP, adenosine triphosphate? It's like what part of the, I'm not going to go into biology, but it's what, you know, how the human body, it's part of the energy process of humans. But anyway, I've gone deep. What was I before that? I don't know. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, well, let's say I was part of my mum and dad in separate forms, in some form of cell or energy, but where was I before that? Where were they before that? Can you see what I'm pointing to here? Can you see that when you look at the nature of life, the only thing really, if we go back as far as we can go to where did we originate, we were just energy. We were just potential. We were potential energy. We're now potential energy made real. We were just, it's like a tree before it's a tree. What is it? It's nothing. It's energy of a tree. I don't know, like ideas. Before my car was a car, what was it? It was an idea in someone's mind on how to design a sexy looking car. I do like my car. It's one of the material kind of guilty pleasures of mine. It was just an idea in a designer's mind that, well, let's put the lights here and let's make it streamlined like this. TVs, houses, footballs, AirPods, phones, they were an idea. And if they were an idea, where were they? They weren't physical. They were non-physical. And then they become physical through it becoming an idea and then being brought into action. So what I'm pointing to here is the formless and the form are the same thing. They're part of the same energy. Emotions, just energy in motion, emotion. Emotions are quite literally electrical impulses traveling along pathways in our brain. They're real. Thoughts are real. Thoughts are things. We have electromagnetic fields. It's all just this quantum soup, this energy dancing. And of course, I don't know if any of this is true, but it seems true. But one thing I've observed is when you look in the direction of life, you start to be able to step back from it all. Because whilst, for me personally, I can get sucked into life where life feels very real and very important. Suddenly it's like I'm trying to get my email inbox cleared, like my life fucking depends on it. And sometimes you have to step back and go, does this really matter? One of the things I do with my clients is the so what test. Like, oh yeah, but this client's annoying. So what? Well, then we're not going to get this deal or whatever. I don't know what industry you're in, but we're not going to get this deal. So what? Well, then we don't have the money. So what? Well, I'll get another one. All right, cool. So why are we worrying about it then? Like, sometimes looking at what life truly is, it starts to take the seriousness away from it all and frees us up where just chill the fuck out, And you can sit back and see it all as a game that's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be an adventure where we get to create whatever the hell we want to create. What do you want? What do you want from life? How do you want to live? Like, what does that look like for you? What does life look like for you? Go and create that. What an epic experience we get to have where we're these spiritual beings having a human experience where life is like our canvas and our skills, abilities, thoughts, emotions are like the paintbrush where we get to just design whatever the fuck we want. It's not supposed to feel so bogged down and stressful. And really what I'm pointing to here is anytime it feels like that, that's an invitation for me to go, right, let's sit back into Wizard here and then let's reconnect. Let's reground ourselves on what we're really here doing, on what life really is. Let's reestablish our position on the map of life. And then there are times where you go, right, okay, cool. I know I want this and this is going to require some energy, some I'm all for the law of attraction, but I think what people miss is the law of action. When I know what I want, then I switch back into warrior and you make that shit happen. But you can enjoy the process, Like, I play football. I've always loved football. It's a hard game. It's not like, do you know what I mean? You're not just sat there meditating. No. There's physical strain, cardiovascular strain. It's tough. But it doesn't mean you don't enjoy it. The same as training. The same as many things in life. Like, a lot of the things that are enjoyable in life, they require energy, effort, commitment, discipline. But it's all part of the same game. This is what I'm saying. It's like, once you see this, you can switch in and out of Wizard and Warrior as and when you need to. If you've been absolutely smashing it, and now it's time to go home, just take that time to switch back into Wizard. And there are different techniques you can use for this, but kind of outside of the scope of this podcast. But although, again, if things you're interested in, then you can always check out my mastermind membership site, stuff like that. But that's a shameless plug there, but that's for another conversation. And if you're finding that you're burnt out, you're working hard, you're fired up, but it's having a negative impact on, you're in stress response, it's having a negative impact, take the time to switch back to Wizard, switch back and chill out and, take some time for yourself. Some of my clients, they will tell their staff that, and I've done this many times, where they'll tell their staff they're in a meeting and they've gone home and sit on the sofa for an hour. And sometimes that's just what we need, And once we give ourselves permission and space to sit there for an hour, to just chill and look out the window, we then come back again with more energy, inspiration, creativity. All of our kind of problems tend to dissolve. The point is how do you use these? Because one without the other, you're operating at a disadvantage. How do you blend the two? How do you switch in and out? How do you bring the right person to the job? If one's a hammer and one's a screwdriver, they do different jobs. But if you're putting together a TV unit, they're both going to come into play. If you try and If you try and put your TV unit together just using a hammer, you're gonna make hard work of it. If you're trying to put the whole thing together just using a screwdriver, but there's a few like grommets or something, I don't know what they're called, that need to be kind of hammered in, then again, it's going to be harder, you know? That to me is what this is about. It's just utilizing the tools we have available to play the game of life in the best way that we know how, whilst feeling fully alive to it, because otherwise what's the point? And as you can tell, I'm not an advocate for suffering my way to success. It's fucking bullshit. Total shit. Because not only do I know that to be true because I've tried it, but I would hate to tell you how many people I've spoken to that have suffered for the last 20 years, sold their business, got millions in the bank, and they're saying to me, is this it? And they regret wasting the last 20 years of their life, their health, their happiness, their relationships, and they wish they'd enjoyed the journey more, because now they've got here and the illusion of happiness it was an illusion in the first place, because happiness is something that's always available to us and always was. So I'd invite you not to make that mistake. Anyway, I'm going to stop for now. 26 minutes there. I like to keep these around this time if I can, so they're kind of bite-sized. Yeah, something to think about. What are you, wizard? Are you warrior? Which one's right for the job? Which one's right for certain jobs? In what ways do you switch in and out of them? Do you need more wizard now? Or do you need more warrior now? What is the... And again, I'm talking about wizard and warrior. You could look at it as in... Some people might call it masculine and feminine energy. Some people might call it alpha and, I don't know, beta. I don't know. Like, there are many ways of talking about the same thing, but for me personally, wizard and warrior sits with me quite nice. I used to call it the gorilla versus the human. Very similar. You know, the gorilla is obviously the warrior. The human is the wizard. But for me, human feels a little bit limited. The wizard is actually more than just intellectual intelligence. It's an innate intelligence that seems to come from something beyond our own psychology. Anyway, let me stop talking. Pleasure as always. And again, if you're enjoying this, then let me know. Leave a review. Tell other people about it. You know, the more people that know about this, the more people that hear about it, assuming it's good, the better their lives get. And that's the point of it. Otherwise, I'm just talking into a phone for absolutely no reason. But anyway, I do appreciate you being here. I appreciate you listening. And I'll speak to you soon.